How's everybody doing tonight? This is John Johnson. Yesterday, I received an email that just literally blew me away. I knew it was coming at some point. I wasn't expecting it yesterday, and many of you may know what I'm referring to because many of you also received this email, and it congratulated me about becoming a shareholder in our network, and which also means in our bank. And it's because I went out and I got 10 people in my organization who I helped to save money and who I started helping earn money. And a lot of you guys did as well. The great news is we have until March 31st to see a lot of other people rejoice by receiving that same email. We are able to lock arms with gentlemen that have been there and done that have had a lot of individual success in their lives. I remember years ago, one of my business heroes said, if you want to find success, surround yourself with people who can, who know how. You need to have the right partners. In our network, you have thousands of partners, potentially millions of partners. And what we're doing, I believe, will change the world in a very positive way. I believe it's going to take the world of network marketing and flip it on its head. I believe that not only will our network be the largest network marketing company, period, I believe it'll be one of the largest network marketing companies of all time, but I also believe it'll be one of the largest marketplaces in the world. What we're building right now is phenomenal. Let me ask everybody this question before I move on. If Amazon paid you every time you referred somebody to purchase an item at Amazon, would that excite you? If Costco paid you a commission every time you sent somebody in there, they purchased a membership and they bought an item, would that excite you? Would it excite you if you were able to become a shareholder in any of those companies or many others just by referring 10 individuals, by helping 10 people enter a marketplace where he or she can save a lot of money? Would that excite you? And to have a business partner like Trent Walker. Why is he your business partner? Easy, because you can become a shareholder. It's also your business. Trent spent 15 years of his life experiencing all sorts of stuff through startup companies and fintech, finance. He spent 9.5 years at Google with the team who figured out a way to send payments all around the world. He also did the same thing for Facebook as a consultant, did it for YouTube, has done it for banks. He is known by the Wall Street Journal as one of the greatest leading payment experts. He is now our CEO. Let me ask you something. In your opinion, would someone with the credentials of Trent Walker be a worthy business partner of yours? If you went out and started a business right now, today, would you consider going into business with a person of this caliber and others with great caliber? Would you go into business with some of the leaders you've seen in this organization? Would you go into business with some of the leaders in your upline? You've got to ask yourself that, because that's exactly what we're inviting you to do. Go into business with us. Become a shareholder along with us. What would it mean to your family to become a shareholder of our network? Think about that as I go through this presentation. Think about how that may just change your life. Our network, to me, is so much more than just a discount program. It's so much more than just a network marketing company. We have a bank. We've got this revolutionary card, this amazing technology. But more than that, we're building a massive marketplace. Let me ask you another question. If I were holding up 2 bottles of Coca-Cola, and one of them was being sold through our network, and the other one's being sold through any other place. The our network one was discounted, the other one was not. Your network one paid into our network, which could actually affect you, and I'll explain how in a moment, and it would also pay someone in your upline. Which bottle of Coke would you purchase? Now think about that at a large scale, because what I'm about to show you is mind-blowing. And for those members right now that are sitting on the fence, that are inactive, you may want to pay very close attention to this call tonight. Because I can tell you right now, this is not the one you want to set out. How many of us right now have ever woken up in the morning and said, geez, you know, I really need to start watching more TV. I just don't waste enough time. I've got to start watching more TV. I need to slack more. I need to make more internet searches. I need to watch more Netflix. I need to play more video games. What am I doing? I'm not wasting enough time. Or are you going back to childhood when you were 10 years old, 15 years old, and your teacher came up to you and said, what would you like to do when you're older? What do you want to do with your life? And you shared your dreams. You shared your visions. And unfortunately, only about 1 to 3% of us ever accomplish those dreams or those visions. What happened? What happened in your life where you lost hope? What stage were you in that you gave up on your dream and your vision and you became complacent? Regardless of what religion you are, what background, what creed, what color, it doesn't matter. God or the Creator or whatever you want to call him or her or whatever, gave us all drive, gave us all ambition, gave us all passion. Some of us will live up to that potential, some of us will not. The question is why? Have you not had the right opportunities? Did you have the wrong business partners? What was it? Let me tell you one story about myself. I spent 2.5 years as a collection agent for a credit card company years ago. Hated it. Absolutely dreaded that job. I'd wake up every morning at 5 o'clock, go to work, and I had to make a minimum of 350 calls just to remind people what they already knew. You owe us money. And if I did not collect a certain amount of money every month, I would have lost my job. But I couldn't. I had to hit those goals every month because I had 2 daughters at the time, a young wife. I was going to school full time, working a job I absolutely hated. But I showed up every morning. And over time, I became the top collector in that company. It took me about 8 months. Number one. And for that next year, moved on to supervisor, whatever. But never loved the job. But one thing I can tell you, it made me a better salesperson, made me a better communicator. It helped me learn to listen to people, helped me learn to relate to people. And it was one of the best jobs of my life. Even though I hated getting up every morning and going, it was the best job of my life because I had learned more in that 2.5 years than I've ever learned any other time in my life as far as being in sales, marketing, whatever you want to call it, everything. It made me a better person all around. It made me more patient. It was the best thing that ever happened to me as far as on a professional level. I didn't make that much money doing it. It was just barely getting me through school. But here I am over 20 years later since I've had that job. And I think back and I often reflect on it, said that's the greatest job I ever had. One of the toughest too, because of the fact that I hated it. It's hard to tell people at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday that they owe you money. Think of the responses I received every day. It wasn't fun, but I did it. I showed up and I did it. And now here I am, master member of our network. One of 3 people in the world that will be a master member of our network. I pinch myself sometimes. Why me? Why? What did I do? What makes me so special? When Richard Smith came up to me and said, John, I want you to be a master member of this company. And I looked at the resumes of the people behind this company. I looked at their caliber. I looked at them as human beings. I've gotten to know these guys really well. And I looked at Richard and I asked him that. I said, why me? And he looked me right in the eyes and he said, John, because I know you care about people. And that told me all I ever needed to know about Richard Smith. He did not give me this position because I had brought in downlines to other companies of millions of people. He did not put me in this position because of my accolades in network marketing. I had only been in the business for about a year when he approached me with this. It's because I cared about people. One of our core principles is lose your life in the betterment of others. And that's exactly what we're going to do. That's exactly what we are doing. That's exactly what many of you on this call tonight are doing. Many of you who are listening later are doing. But let's go back to what's really, really exciting. Becoming a shareholder, number one, and we're going to talk about becoming an ambassador for this company, number two, and how this compensation finally was put together to help the little guy that had the cruddy job like I did years ago, the little guy that all he or she wanted was a fighter's chance, a compensation plan that the math works for everybody and not a select few, and bonuses where you can earn money on your upline and your sideline on both sides by their efforts. Every single time somebody enters this marketplace, ask yourself this question. Could it have a positive effect on the overall value of this marketplace, this company? How would that affect you as a shareholder? What if 10,000 people joined? 100,000 people? 1,000,000 people? 2,000,000 people? Could that have a positive effect on those shares? Could that help you with your family? Could that have a positive effect on your bonuses as far as not just income you'll make and earn from people underneath you purchasing these products and services, but as an ambassador as we go through that? So I wanted to give you guys just a small sneak peek tonight of what we're working on just on this team. And I know of some other things the other team's doing, some of it, not all of it. And I know they've got a lot of big things brewing too. But I want to focus on what we're doing because I've got my fingers on the pulse of it very well. My business partner, Larry, one of my closest friends in the world, love him like a brother. I've known him for over 20 years. My brother has been working for him for over 22, 23 years. He has bought and sold banks. He grew up, his father owned a bank. He and I spent 10 days with the bankers behind the scenes in this company. He came out to me before he got back in his rental car and went back to the airport in Salt Lake. He looked at me and said, if these guys pull this off, this could be the biggest company ever. And he said, I believe they will, because nothing that was said in that room over the last 10 days raised any red flags. And John, I would know. I've bought and sold banks. Everything they said is spot on. They know what they're doing. What you guys don't know about is a lot of the stuff going on behind the scenes right now that he's also kind of involved with to a point. All the executive meetings that I've been to because of my relationship with this gentleman and all the insights and everything I've learned, kind of looked at this entire thing from a bird's eye view. I get so frustrated when people go inactive. I get so frustrated when people become just upset or offended because, oh, the card's not out in January. The bank's not here yet. Woe me, that's terrible. Well, let me tell you what. Drop to your knees. Thank God that the bank's not here yet. Why? Easy. Because now you have until March 31st to become a founder and a shareholder in this company. Had the bank come out in January, that would not be the case. So all the people who have procrastinated, or all the people who haven't and are still trying to learn and develop and build teams, you have a second chance. This is it. This is your opportunity. To be able to be a shareholder in a company like this, now go back to the 15-year-old self. What did you promise yourself when you were young? Said, someday if I make it, I'm going to help the world. We all wanted to change the world when we were kids. All of us. Every single last one of us. We all had that burning desire and that ambition. But many of us have let it go because we became complacent. But we're still all alive. We still have a pulse. We still have a heart. We still have a mind. We can still achieve. We can dream again. My business partner, and the reason I'm mentioning him tonight, another thing, once this bank does launch, this is a gentleman that literally, I will get him on the phone, and I'll hear him laughing and everything, and he said, oh, hey, John, how are you doing? You know, how's it going? Da-da-da. He says, I'm just over here, we're deep sea fishing with Georgia Florida Line. You know, the popular country band. Call him a couple days later. Oh, hey, John, I'm over here in New York. Oh, I'm here in Washington, you know, rubbing shoulders with a couple senators. That's his life. That's his circle. That's his inner circle. Why am I telling you this? Because it does affect you. It can directly affect you. If you had any idea the businesses that he's bringing into this after the bank launches and what they're doing and the relationships he's bringing us, you'd be dancing in the streets right now, knowing that I can become an ambassador and I can earn commission on that. I can become a shareholder. Voice America, we'll talk about them on the next slide. Republic of Vietnam represents 5 million people. 5 million people. Let me tell you something about this group. Our president, whether you love him, hate him, or not, doesn't matter. He recognized them a couple days ago as citizens of the United States and welcomed them to California or whatever. You have a group of about 5 million, what we call misplaced citizens. They elected a gentleman that they believe should be their president of Vietnam. And he was in exile. He spent 20 years hiding. Built a house out in the middle of the desert in California. And I met with this group. And I saw their passion, and I saw what they want to do is raise awareness and money to help them take their country back. And we sat in that meeting, and we listened to them. And guess what? They're becoming part of our network because they believe in it so much. All of the different things that are amazing. This isn't a group that's going to join a company that sells bottle or juice or lotion or potion. They want to raise money and awareness. They want to help build this marketplace. And these people follow this gentleman almost like a religion. They love him. He has done amazing stuff for them. Once he announces he's part of our network and he starts bringing people in and bringing people in and bringing people in, could that affect your ambassador bonuses? Could that affect the overall valuation of the company? Let's go to the Philippines. Working with the gentleman there that owns 827 companies. 827 companies. And he's a phone call away from the man, his grandfather, who is the decision maker on who can or cannot open a network marketing company in that country. And we have had discussions with him. He's excited about our network. He loves our network. He's excited to hire a bunch of celebrities to go out and promote our network like crazy in his country, in several other countries. South Africa, working with 2 amazing leaders in South Africa. We bring large teams. India, 3 amazing leaders that want to bring in large teams that I know of, plus what they're doing on the other side. France, we have a team going crazy in France right now. All they have is travel. But that's not true because they also have the vision. They realize, hey, I can make money when somebody here in America saves on a phone or on a car or on a house or whatever it may be. And they also understand that as they build a network in their country, we will bring additional products to their country through concierge services. And then you can make money on what they save on in their country. It's not just the $2. That's why I play that scene with the paper boy from Better Off Dead. I want my $2. Stop chasing around people for just $2. Every single person that enters our network enters our marketplace. Therefore, he or she can increase your ability to earn, either directly, either as an ambassador, or as a shareholder. That's what our network is. South Korea, monster team they're building. Canada, all over the UK, all over South America. Church groups, schools, unions, one union in particular, 7.2 million employees that they want to sign up as fans after the bank rolls out. 7.2 million. Here's what's amazing about that. Everything I just shared with you, it started with about 10 people, if that. Some of them 2 people. Several companies coming in. We have over 8,500 people on this team. Imagine how many more of these stories you're going to hear, because I'm just sharing the tip of the iceberg. That's our network. It's not about just a card. It's not about just a bank. It's about our ability to create a network and take the power back from the big guys. Our information has been bought and sold for a long, long time, so they can market to us. Now you can invite somebody to enter into this marketplace, and when that individual purchases something in this marketplace, you can be paid, and they will receive a discount. Let's talk about Voice America. A lot of you, we got so excited, we said, you know what, oh my gosh, look at Trent. Listen to Richard. They're on Voice of America. They're on the radio. Listen to them. And we listened to that 1-hour podcast. Remember that? A couple weeks ago. This is what you don't know. Voice of America, their CEO, Jeff, sitting right there. He's a member of our network. He's on our team. You have no idea what they plan to do for our network. They're in 140 countries and have a listening base of over 65 million people. They're working with our network. Why? Because it's a fad? The bank's fake? Come on. People like Trent, he wouldn't put his name, his reputation, his golden resume on the line to work with a fad, a fly-by-night. People like him don't fail. You show me anywhere in his professional life where he has failed. And I'm sorry to say, people like myself, I don't fail. I work till the job is done. I'm not putting 15 to 16 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week into this to fail. I'm not doing that because it's fake. I'm doing that because this is real as it gets. And we're inviting you to be engaged and stay engaged. And if you're inactive, get active. Because I can tell you one thing right now. March 31st is not moving for you. It's not going to push itself back. If you're waiting for a card, March 31st is still going to be March 31st. It's still 2 months from now. Don't cost yourself a chance of becoming a shareholder of a company like this because you're too stubborn. Don't allow that to happen. Think and know the bigger picture. What we're doing is your upline. What we're doing is your teammates, your family. We've created a culture on this team, Revvolutionaries, as a family culture. And we work hard to keep that culture alive. And we're going to work with or without you. We're inviting you to meet us halfway. Meet us in the middle. Because I can tell you what, right now, all the excuses, everything I hear every day, the only butt that you should be concerned about is a butt that you're sitting on. That's it. No other butts. But if you sit this one out, you'll have a lot more concerns because it's another dream that you let pass by. Let you slip away because you mentally did not prepare yourself. You can win in our network. and I'll show you how. Every single new member on this team comes in as an employee. I don't care if you have 40, 50 years in this experience in this business. It doesn't matter to me. Everybody starts as the same. We're all the same. Employees that go through the 14 training classes, they go through our team manual, they look at it, they learn, they become better and better at what they do. They graduate to supervisor status. Then as a supervisor, they turn around and they help their employees become supervisors. I will ask you this, if you start a job, do they train you? Or do they say, here you go, fly that airplane, shoot that gun, put that fire out, whatever it may be? Do they do that on day one, or do they train you? Do they have a program to train you, to make you better, to make you a better benefit for the company, to make you a better version of yourself? What do they do? Why in the world should teams in network marketing be any different? We train, we develop. You become a supervisor. It's the first thing you should do. Then you turn around. Every single new member you sign up should have a copy of our team manual. Every single one. The team building guide. So they can share it with the next member and the next one and the next one. Do you know what that's called? It's called a duplicatable system. Then once you decide, hey, I'm ready to present, I'm ready to do home meetings, are you aware that we have a full hour of training on just what to say and what to do? Not only the proper way to invite people to meetings, but to get them to actually show up to a meeting. Full hour on it, just that one thing. Did you know that? You know where to find it? Team files section, Becoming a Seven-Figure Earner, written by a seven-figure earner and taught by myself, who's been teaching salespeople in different industries for decades, been a consultant for small businesses to teach them how to market. One thing about me, and I really don't like talking about myself a lot, I just kind of need to on calls like this. Every sales job I have ever had since I was 15 years old, I've been number one, the top producer. A lot of people don't know this about me. I worked at Target years ago. Not at Target, really. In Target, it was US Bank inside of Target. I spent about a year at that job. They hired me as a teller / loan officer, but only loans, auto loans, and business loans up to $5,000, $10,000, just small loans. I came up with a couple ideas. I found a couple niches. Within a week and a half, they pulled me off that teller line so fast because I was bringing applications in like crazy. There was a program at the time, way back, remember this. We used to have check-in accounts and stuff. We'd have to go in and walk in, and then, you know, people give you a check at work. Now everything's direct deposit. Well, direct deposit was just barely coming out. And so I learned about this direct deposit. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And we had something called U-Bank at work. And what that meant was if I were able to sign somebody up with a new bank account, he or she could receive 0.5% off of an interest rate on a car, a house, whatever it may be, if they had direct deposit set up through US Bank. And I'm thinking, gosh, the first thing that came to my head is I got to identify people who are on direct deposit, but it's new. So I'm thinking, I spent a couple of days, and it was so funny. I had a conversation with my brother 2 days later, 2 days. And he said, John, I got to go to the ATM because I just got paid. And I said, oh, you got to deposit a check? He said, no, I'm going to go pick it up. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I'm on direct deposit. Well, my brother was in the Army. And I said, oh, okay, well, that's cool. I said, so you just set that up? He said, no, they automatically do it. I said, what do you mean? He said, if you're in the military, you're on direct deposit. I said, wait a second. You mean all branches? He said, all branches. That's how the military pays you. If you don't get direct deposit, you don't get paid. I said, oh, that's interesting. So do you know what I did the next day? I put a tie on, I walked out of that bank, and I went to every single recruiter in the city. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, several different branches. I walked into the reserve building and set an appointment to talk to their reserve, all the soldiers. And I said, I want to explain something to you. I want to share a program we have you. It may save you some money on interest, on a car note, on a home loan, whatever it may be. And I went out and I pounded the pavement. And I broke an 80+ year standing record for that bank. I became the #1 producer ever in the history of that bank for new accounts opened. #1. And I was supposed to be a part-time teller. I would walk into my office and applications would be sitting there on the fax machine, one after another, boom, 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 boom. Because this is what almost every recruiter asked me to a man. I said, John, will you pay them and will they be able to take their card? Because we're going to train them and then they're going to go here and they're going to end up here, different countries, different places. Will they get a debit card? I said, of course they'll get a debit card. Good enough for me. They turned every 18-year-old in the valley that joined the military, guess where they came to open their bank account? They came to see John Johnson at US Bank in Target. Corporate flew out. The CFO flew out and said, what in the world are you doing? And I said, well, simple. This is what I did. I found a niche. And I went to every car dealer. I went everywhere and I set up my base. I built my foundation. And I was closing loan after loan, like small business loans. I was doing car loans. I was doing all these military people. I was referring them to do mortgages. And they looked at me and said, oh my gosh, we had this commission structure. You had to get 8,000 points a month. My average month was over 70,000 points a month. The second person next to me in the entire organization, 18,000 a month. That was #2. I blew their minds with the business I brought in. Why? Because I had the vision. I had the passion. I had the drive. Guess what? I still have it. I am very humble. I'm very proud to be your team leader. But I'm telling you, lock arms with me. And I am sharing all of my knowledge, all of my experience, all of my passion with you. Because I want you to also become a shareholder of our network. I want you to become an ambassador. Whether I know your first name or not, it does not matter. If you're on my team, you're in my family. Period. End of story. That's the way I've always built sales teams. Some of my best friends in life are people I trained in sales. And I was able to watch people. When I trained people as appraisers, I would take them from $20,000, $30,000 a year incomes to $200,000 a year incomes. You know how good that made me feel? It made me feel amazing. Moving on, search engine optimization. This is so amazing. We hired the #1 awarded company in the United States for marketing. #1. Why? Because we care that much. Your upline spends $6,000 a month on you. I can tell you something though. You know who's going to get these leads? The managers. The employees aren't ready yet. They've got to go be trained. They've got to be able to close the leads. They need to be competent and confident. Go through those courses, learn to be better, become an entrepreneur, lock your arms with the business partners that you have. Go earn the right to become a shareholder. We spend $6,000 a month. Why? Because you get some of the best SEO from the best people. And then I get, well, where are the leads? Where are the leads? The leads will probably come around April. It takes 4 to 6 months to rank. If you do it correctly and you'll understand search engine optimization, because part of my sales life, I sold SEO. I used to go out and I would broker deals. I worked with 32 marketing agencies. And I would walk into small businesses and I'd say, look, listen, what are your plans for the next 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? What are your goals? What's your budget? What's this, and that? And I would write their content and I would put their marketing programs together for them. And I would take it to what I felt was the best marketing agency that fit that client's needs. I didn't work for any of them. I was just a broker. And those agencies would pay me 15% of the cost of whatever campaign I came up with. I made a 15% commission. That's what I did for 2.5 years. That's what I did. I learned who the best agencies were. I learned so much about marketing, but just by doing that. And I did it completely blind, meaning nobody knew who I was on day one. I came up with the idea and just walked into agencies and said, I want to sell for you, but I don't want to be an employee. Could I be a broker? Do you have any kind of a broker program? Well, we have an affiliate program. We have this and that. Okay, how does it work? And I interviewed over 110 agencies. I picked 32. And I was sending agencies deals all the time. All the time. One right after another. What we're doing with Fusion, I'm more excited about this than anything I've done in marketing before. We are running SEO on our network, on Revvcard, on rbank, on rmobile, on r this, on r that, and every R product that rolls into this. This is what we're talking about. What's going to happen when the bank rolls out? What's going to happen after we launch? What's going to happen when more and more exposure? What's going to happen when Voice America blasts out our network? What's going to happen when everybody's screaming our network from the rooftops, when they're saving more money? How many searches are going to reach Google? We went top shelf. I spared no expense for this. What's going to happen when we're on page 1? How many searches do you think we're going to get if we're even in the top 3? I can tell you from the first position, 47% of searches click on your site. If you saw the analytics we were running behind the scenes, it would blow your minds. With pages and pages and pages of analytics. We know how much time somebody spent on our site, which sites they went onto, which ones they clicked through, what the click-through rate is, what the bounce rate is, which means did they leave the site within a few seconds, and all that. We know everything. We know which sites will convert better than others, and we're zeroing it all in. So when we rank, our conversions will be much higher. We analyze every little fine detail, and we're going to turn around and give the leads to those managers that earn the right to work those leads, to help them build their teams, help them bring their employees up, help them bring their supervisors up. That's what we're going to do. We moved up 18 positions in the last 2.5 days on SEO. 18 positions up in the last 2.5 days. These guys have taken guys from below 500 ranking to #1 many times. They know what they're doing. This is coming. And here's what's amazing about this. We're asking people to spend $50 a month to come in and potentially save money and enter a marketplace and have the opportunity to become a shareholder and have the opportunity to become an ambassador and earn on what people like myself do and Jeremy and the other leaders. And you only need 3 people, 3, to be reimbursed every month. Not once, no fast start bonus, every single month. You need 3. And again, March 31st, in 2 months, you can become a shareholder. Well, John, what happens if I don't make it? First of all, you won't make it if you ask me that question. Don't ask me that question. John, what do I need to do to make it? I have people in the organization right now that are brand new, that are building teams, and they've never done this business before. Why are they having success? Easy. They're humble, they're hungry, they're motivated, and they're sponges. And they're soaking it up. And they're asking the right questions. And they're going through the courses. And they're creating an online presence. And they're learning how to build like the professionals. And they're learning how to close like the pros. And let me ask you this question. When you build your team, if you were to build a football team and put together a roster, would you go out and bring in a bunch of basketball players, baseball players, or would you go out and recruit football players? If you go through our courses, we will teach you how to bring people in that are already in the industry, that are capable of building teams with you. They're going to bring in a lot more than your mom, your dad, your brother, and your sister, and your dog. Help those guys later. Bring in professionals. Learn to build. Learn how to do it like the pros. And then go out and say, well, March 31st, gosh, I didn't quite make it. That's okay. Because you can still become an ambassador. Let me ask you this. What if it took you a year to become an ambassador? What if it took you 2 years to become an ambassador? How many people do you think will be spending money on items in our network 2 years from now? How many our network products do you think we'll have 2 years from now? Our products. How much money do you think is going to be coming through this marketplace in 2 years? And then it took me 2 years to become an ambassador. That means I got 10 people who got 3. So now I'm making a bonus on everything because there's bonus pools. Part of that money being spent on those programs are going into this pool. And you can capitalize on it for $50 a month. $50 a month. That's it. That's retention. How many shareholders in your downline do you think will drop out? How many people in your downline that are making money on all these pools will drop out? How many people with only 3 people that are being reimbursed every month and making $6 will drop out? In any business, I don't care how you slice and dice it, I don't care what it is. You have to have retention. If you don't have retention, you don't have a clientele. You don't have a business. I don't care if you own a gym. I don't care if you own a bagel shop. It doesn't matter. If you cannot retain your customers, you cannot have a sustainable business. Our network focuses on retention. Hardcore. You've got to know what this is. You've got to understand what this opportunity is, because it's staring you right in the face. And guys like me, we don't chase just anything. We're picky. Guys like Trent, he's picky. He's probably pickier than I am. Some of the world beaters we're bringing into this organization that introduced me to all of these deals I shared with you, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, they're picky. You need to tell yourself this. When you see all this talent coming to one company, there just may be something special about that one company. I'm going to end it with one story I want to tell you guys. Because one thing I'm challenging you to do, I shared that video at the beginning, the video you won't see on the recording because it was a countdown. It was that gentleman that saw the guy playing the music on the street. And he went out and he made that amazing small act of kindness. I challenge every single person on this call, listening now and who will listen later, once you start realizing your dreams, pay it forward. Pay it forward. Lose your life in the betterment of others, because that's what our network is. One night, 5 minutes changed my life years ago. Changed my life completely. I was a newlywed, kind of newlywed, a couple years. I had 2 daughters, 2-year-old and about a 10-month-old. First, it was a Christmas time, Christmas Eve. I was stressed out of my mind. I was working that job as a collector. I wasn't making that much money. I made a little bit, and a couple bonuses here and there and stuff like that as I was working my way up to supervisor status. So it was before I became a supervisor. And I had this young family, and I was going to school full time. I was stressed out of my mind. And I kept thinking to myself, gosh, there's got to be, life can't suck this bad. Why in the world does life suck so bad? I can't even afford Christmas presents for my daughters or my wife. And I was devastated. I'm working full time. I'm going to school full time. Why can't I have enough money to buy presents? Why not? And I remember it was right around 9:30, 10 at night, and I hear footsteps and I hear kids laughing. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. And then all of a sudden I hear on my door. And I look up and I look at my wife. I'm like, doorbell ditchers, because I can hear them laughing. And I heard them running up the staircase. We were in this basement apartment. We had this little staircase. And I said, well, what the heck? I got up and I opened the door. Changed my life forever. That staircase was stacked full of Christmas presents for my daughters with their names on it, my wife, and myself. Stacked. We had probably 50 Christmas presents sitting on that staircase. I think about that every Christmas. That happened over 20 years ago. Every single Christmas, I get on my knees and I thank God for that experience. I feel it 20 years later, a small act of kindness. To this day, I have no idea who did it. No idea. Never found out. Lose your life in the betterment of others. Make a difference. Pay it forward. Our network wants you to make money. Our network is giving you this opportunity to shine, to find that dream that you had when you were a child. I'm inviting you to accept it, to take that leap of faith, and to lock arms with myself, with Trent and the others, with your upline, with your contacts, bring your network to our network, and make a difference in the world and see how amazing your life becomes. That's what I'm challenging you to do. Help people receive all of these discounts so you can earn money on these pools. You can earn money on people underneath you, above you, on both sides of you, because they saved money on these items. Plus, there's going to be hundreds of more of these items. You do that. You become a shareholder because you're good enough. You do that and become an ambassador because you're good enough. Don't quit. Don't stop. Re-engage if you need to. I love you all. We'll talk to you next time. Good night.